like to read it. At the capitalist development, emphasizing material development with high production and exercise use of natural resources had an adverse effect on non-rural community. And self-dependent agriculture transformed to service resource hotel. Some villagers were unable to pay their heavy debt because of their land mortgage. Their land was gotten by capitalists. Also, investors buy up small pieces of land for speculation of maximum profit. A social problem is different of opinion in community about political decision. That is a source of the food is gone because of move forward tourism industry. And more aquatic animals, mingle and fishermen were deprived of their income, resulting in family deaths. I want to show technology start in 1993. The community leaders held a discussion decided to solve the problem by making it more the community center. And then they established a parents fund. Later in 1997, the parent fund became an saving group for production. During 1997 to 2001, building a strong community and setting up a community fund, leaders formed an agro-tourism association and they recognized the risks of unregulated development. Hitting back inspired by its own teaching. They are generosity people. The group aims to protect the area's environment and natural assets while fostering harmonious relation with visitors with their kindness. 2001 to 2005 development people in the community, such as thinker, planner, developer for their area. And social solution. People in the community take part in exchanging ideas and knowledge in order to know the adaptation and disadvantage.
From the house PDRO, the work and improvement for corporate culture, extension, and property.
You are working in Bengal or in the province?
Bengal.
You are the VP of Electrification.
Good morning. I am Jamal Abidi from Bangladesh, Rural Development and Cooperative Division.
Ministry.
Good morning. I am Rashidul Alam, Bangladesh Rural Development Board.
Good morning. My name is Pipon China from Thailand, from the Department of Agricultural Extension.
Do you work in Bangkok?
No, Phuket.
Okay, you're from Phuket. Oh. Okay.
He's back.
Okay.
She presented.
Okay. Fine, no problem.
My name is Lurat Tanguang from Department of Public Works and Thailand.
Okay. Okay, yeah. Munsi is there?
Yeah. Good morning. My name is Munsi from I work for Department of Agriculture.
Okay.
Exactly so.
I am from Sri Lanka. You're from Agriculture Ministry? Okay. Okay.
Yes, now I come from Vietnam. I work for Rural Development Division.
Okay. Are you from Hanoi or from?
Yes, I am.
Hanoi, okay.
Okay, I'm Chana from Vietnam. I work from Rural
which office or which DG you work? Any extension or any other?
Which department?
But
You work which department?
Okay.
road development department.
It's okay, sir.
Good morning, sir. I'm from Fiji.
Okay.
I work in the Ministry of Rural and Maritime Development and National Sustainability.
Good morning, sir. My name is Abdullah. Department of Agriculture.
Oh, you're working in Hidao?
Morning, sir. Myself, Venkatesh, working as a federal leader from Andaman Nicobar Islands, India.
Okay. Good one. Good one. MRD or air? MRD. Okay. Do you still have the same minister or have been replaced? There is no minister yet? Still, what's not? Still, okay, okay. Okay, that's why I'm asking. Thank you. Okay. My dear colleagues, let me begin by Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good morning to you all. I'm very happy and I feel very much privileged to be here with you this very morning. For one reason, because this is the forum where I can meet colleagues from CIRDAP member countries. There is no more forum that I can have a chance to talk to my colleagues from a number of CIRDAP countries other than this training program. That's why I always feel very happy to come here and talk to you all. Especially because you are the future generation of the country's policy, especially in dealing with property litigation, dealing with rural developments, and you are the one who will decide the future, livelihood of many of those people who live in the rural areas. To be very frank to you, I'm not expert on rural development myself. I'm struggling with this issue for the last 2 years, trying to learn here and there, but I must confess to you, I'm not expert on this one. When you see this presentation from Thailand, it's very interesting for a number of reasons. Thailand is a Buddhist majority country. I think, how much is 90%, 80%, 70%? I think it's Buddhism. Yes, so Thailand is a Buddhist majority country, but they have some provinces like Yala, Patanis, Songkhlas, they are all Muslim majority provinces because ethnically and culturally they are closer to the Malays in Malaysia. The British just, in the history, when they divide the region, they just cut the map and one goes to Thailand, one goes to Malaysia without having the culture, everything. And it is very interesting for one reason. If you listen to presentations, don't feel bad about my statements. English is always a problem with Thais. If you go to Bangkok and ask where to go to the Ministry of Army, the Thais will not give you the complete answer. Go this way, turn right, turn left. They will simply say, keep on smiling without saying you any single word. But the very fact they keep smiling without saying a single word, that's a reflection of their strength. I think no other countries in Southeast Asia could bring more tourists than the Thais. Even I watched TV a few months ago and BBC told told the audience that their number of tourists who travel to Thailand even bigger than those who come to Indonesia, those who come to India. I think around 20-30 million people go to Thailand every year. And tourism become the backbone of the country's economics. Apart from these rural products, let me share about this. Why interesting when you talk about this village in Phuket? When you bring tourism, you bring along with them the cultures, the foreigners. You see the ladies with bikinis, Of course, for the majority of Muslims in the southern part of Thailand, this is a big issue. There's the big issues, and for years and years and years, they are fighting against the government in Bangkok. There are many people who are fighting, violently. But Thailand has one thing that we don't have everywhere. They have a very wise kings. There is no other king I think is better than the king of Thailand, who served for the benefit of the rural poor of Thais. Let me tell you about this one. Now, when you bring tourism, you bring, of course, market, you bring capitals. And capitals, of course, change everything. She said about how the investors come to the region to change the entire spectrums of the rural community in Phuket. But the question for the local community, who are mostly Muslims, how to deal with the situations, how to cope with the influx of capitals, will change the whole spectrum of the regions. And they come with a very good solution, at least at one particular level of area, from particular localities of the area. And one thing that I think Thailand is also very good is the very fact that the government focused on how to bring about incomes in the rural areas by using their strengths. You must have seen in the presentation, she talked about self-sufficiency of economy, the philosophy that's being brought by the King of Thailand. What happened to make it much more clear to you, King himself is agriculture engineer by training. So he has special, kind of likely, special kind of bias with regard to the promotion of rural development in Thailand. And what he does all the time is that with the money that he has, he always look for very dry area of Thailand, where the farmers can grow nothing there. So he look for that kind of regions, and then the king in himself invested a lot how to transform this area into a much more fertile areas, much more prosperous areas. He invests a lot. Of course, when the king invests, the rest follow, because the charisma that king has is, uncomparable. Nobody can compare with this kind of charisma. So when the king goes to one particular area and invests, the rest of the countries also follow that, and it transforms the regions. We travel to many countries in the world, but I don't think you can find at the national airport people selling mangoes, selling fruit, except at Bangkok airport. It's a reflection of the confidence they have. And if you see the BBC advertisement on TVs, Thailand keep on saying, we are the kitchen of the world. That's kind of confidence they have. Because the capacity, the quality of their product, of course, is beyond doubt. As I mentioned, I spent 2 years in U.S. House in Washington, D.C. And I survived for one thing, eating Thai canned food. Because I can't go to any restaurant and eating, as Muslim. So I survived basically because in America, you will find all those agriculture products come from Thailand in the form of canned food. Everywhere is Thailand. Even in Indonesia, if you go to our market, to Carrefour or any big wholesale markets, our problem with the Thais is that everything is Thais. Guava Bangkok, jackfruit Bangkok, everything is Bangkok. And I think in the month of May this year, ASEAN will begin to adopt this free market, Asian free trade agreements. And it become effective by May 2015, am I getting wrong? When it becomes effective, all countries of ASEAN has to open its door to any products from any other countries of Southeast Asia. And we are very nervous about it because we know for sure that all the fruit that we have will have to go away because Thai's food will come. And of course, Thai also produce one of the biggest rice producers in the world, now competing with Myanmar. So it's a reflection about the strengths of their governments to promote rural development. And come back to this issue of this Phuket. when the flood of capital come to these regions, the government also very much aware this region is a different region compared to other regions in Thailand because it's a Muslim majority provinces and they are fighting for more freedoms in Thailand for so long. And therefore the government is very cautious how to deal with this region. And the kind of model that they adopted to promote this ecotourism, I think is one of the best options that could win on both sides. The government is happy because then the government can invest to promote this ecotourism without letting this investor to come in a big way that can change the entire regions. And also, of course, I can be sure of it create kind of anger against the governments and lead to the violence against the governments. But for the people in the region also, it preserves their local characteristics. It preserves the local characteristics of the local communities without destroying the entire natural areas. Now, this is the kind of policy I personally believe should be the policy that we have to think about in our own countries. In our own countries. Now, to have this kind of policy, we need very smart officials like you. The officials who always open their minds, eager to learn and ready to learn from anywhere on the earth to bring about the change in your provinces, in your village, in your district without destroying the entire natural resources that you have. It's a big issue. It's a big issue. The only thing that we can benefit from our current global context is knowledge is open. Resources of knowledge is open to us all. You don't have to depend on your own skill and knowledge. You can see knowledge from every source in the world. I told you earlier, my background is not rural development. My background is mostly dealing on local government. I spent almost 15 years learning how to promote local government in Indonesia. So when I became a DG of CIRDAP, my knowledge about rural development is very limited. So I have to struggle with that. How do I do it? Every day I spend an hour or two looking for any open knowledge that's available on the internet, available on YouTube, available everywhere. That opened my mind. And in your case, because most of you come from the government agencies, there are a number of agencies that can help to promote your knowledge and skill understandings. For example, like CIRDAP, like ARDUS, like CIRDAP. There are all agencies that can help you to learn from each other's experiences. And my hope is that this kind of program, this kind of training program that you spend for almost 10 days, open up your minds, see what happened in many parts of the globe. There's nothing new on earth. If you can't find here, remember somewhere there. Sometimes for very small things. In Bangladesh, we have been talking with a number of colleagues how to